Good day, everyone. Welcome to a new learning session for the subject English for academic and professional purposes. This is Miss Liza S. Garamara, your subject teacher. For this learning session, we will be talking about the structure of academic text. Now, structure is an important feature of academic writing since it enables reader to follow argument and navigate the text. So, structure in academic writing is the way ideas are organized in a clear order. It is important because it helps the reader understand the argument and easily move through the text. A good structure makes writing clear, more logical, and easier to follow. So, the topic structure of academic text is not new to you because you were able to encounter this one when you were still in elementary, in junior high school, even when you were still in grade 11. Now, in writing an academic text, you need to remember that there's a lot of structure available around, one of which is the MRED structure and many more. But in this learning session, we will be focusing on one of the most common structure that we usually follow way back when you were still in elementary, in junior high school, even when you were still in grade 11. And that structure is composed of the following parts. We have the introduction, the body, and then the conclusion. Again, this is already familiar to you, and all we need to do in this learning session is to dig deeper and comprehend more about each part. Now, without further ado, let's begin with the introduction. So, when we talk about introduction, it is the beginning part of a particular paragraph that gives the topic and the main idea. In addition, when we talk about introduction, it is the first paragraph and is the first thing that your reader sees. That's why it needs to be great. This is according to a video lesson that we've obtained from Poton. Now, what's in an introduction? So there are three main parts to the introduction. It includes the hook, the background information, and the thesis. First part of the introduction is the hook. So the purpose of the hook is to draw the reader's attention to make them want to keep reading. In short, your hook will help you to catch or grab the attention of your readers. Remember, a while ago, I told you that the introduction is the first part of your paragraph and therefore is the first thing that your reader sees. That's why it needs to be great. So the hook is one of the ways and how you'll be able to make your introduction great. So you need to catch or grab the attention of your readers. Now, what are the things that you may be able to use in order for you to have an effective hook? So you may use quotations, questions, facts, or statistics. Now, when we talk about quotations, example for this, if your topic is all about education, you may use the quotation, education is the key to success. Okay, so that's an example of quotation. Meaning to say, when you will be having your quotation, it should be connected with the topic that you will be discussing. It shouldn't be out of the world quotations. It should be aligned with the topic given to you. Okay? So the next one is questions. Now, when you will be using questions in your hook, you should make sure that the questions that you will be including in the first part of your introduction, it should be answered in the later part of your paragraphs. So it's not enough that you will be able to use questions. It is also important for you to answer those questions that you were able to include. Okay? So aside from that, for you to really grab the attention of your readers, in order for you to catch their attention, use questions which requires higher order thinking skills or hot questions. Example, questions which begins with why, questions which begins with how, and so on and so forth. Okay? So you must not use questions which are very simple to answer. It should be something which requires critical thinking as well. Okay? Next one is the very common one, the use of facts or statistics as hook. So when we talk about facts, these are objective. This is based on what is in reality, what is the truth. Okay? And when we talk about statistics, it has something to do with numbers. There are data that you will be providing, for example, percentage and so on and so forth. So another example for facts, these are science-based. That's why it may catch the attention of the readers easily. Okay? Now, what are the things that you need to avoid when you will be writing your hook? So you must not use this phrase or this statement. This essay will be about. So basically, it's very boring. So it would not catch the attention of the readers. All right. So the next part of the introduction is the background information. So after grabbing or catching the attention of your readers, it's now time for you to give a little information about your topic. Now, these are the things that you may be able to do in order for you to craft or to write an effective background information. So the first one is for you to give the main points. Second, you may also answer the question why the topic is important. And you may also include in the background information the outline of your essay. Now, you must not tell them everything. Who are we referring to? Who's them in this particular part? So you must not tell the readers. We are referring to the readers. You must not tell the readers everything because, again, all you need to include in the background information is just a little information about your topic. Do not tell them everything yet because you will be telling them everything in the body paragraph, of course. Don't use the statement also, I am going to talk about. It's not the right terms to use, or it's not the right statement to use, because aside from the fact that it uses I, which is a personal pronoun, which is a no in writing your academic text, it's quite boring. It's not interesting as well. Okay? Next, we are now in the third part of your introduction. This is now the last part of your introduction. So the third part is the thesis. Now, when we talk about thesis, It tells your reader your main topics or position. It has something to do with your stand, your claim, your say about the topic given to you. So the thesis is the backbone of your essay. That's why you need to be clear and specific. Do not use vague words. Do not use complicated terms. So be clear and specific with your thesis. Next one, you must put your thesis at the end of your introduction. You must not put it in the beginning, you must not put it in the middle, but in the end of your introduction. And aside from that, when you will be creating your thesis, it should be original. You must not copy the thesis, the stand, the position of your classmates or any other people around you. It should be original, based on your own. That's why it may help you if you'll ask yourself, what is my stand, my position about this topic? Now, don't use or don't do the following things when you will be writing your thesis. Don't bury the thesis in the middle, as what I have said a while ago. It should be at the end of your introduction. Then don't be vague. You must be clear and specific. Again and again, you should remember that. And you should not begin with a statement, the point of my paper is blah blah blah. Again, it uses pronoun, personal pronoun, okay, which is not recommended when you will be writing your academic text. The second part of the structure in writing academic text is the body paragraph. Now, the body is the middle part where you explain and support your ideas. Moreover, when we talk about a body paragraph, it is the core of your essay since it gives to the reader the bulk of your information. This is the part where you place the crucial information that supports your topic. So when we talk about body paragraph, we have different types. We have the narrative paragraph, expository, descriptive, and persuasive. Now, these are the types of the body paragraphs in which you may be able to use later on when you will be writing your academic text. So, one way for you to express your body paragraph is through a narrative form. So, when you will be using a narrative form in your body paragraph, you should be expressing your information in such a way that you are telling a story. And it answers the 5 W's, which stands for the who, where, why, what, and when, just like the example given. But you need to remember that in the example, it uses I. Again, please be reminded that in writing your academic text, you should refrain from using I because it is subjective. It is a personal pronoun. Another way for you to express your body paragraph is through expository paragraph, in which you will be presenting facts, you will be giving directions, and you will be defining terms. So expository paragraph is one of the most common type of body paragraph that you may be able to use, especially that you will be writing an academic text. Next, we also have a descriptive way of expressing your body paragraph, in which you will be presenting single clear picture and you will be using specific sensory details. So it has something to do with the use of the senses that we have: sense of sight, sense of hearing which are applicable in having a descriptive paragraph in your body paragraph. Then we also have persuasive way of expressing your body paragraph in which you will be expressing your opinion. You will be trying to convince the reader why your opinion is valid. But basically, you need to remember as well that when you will be giving your opinion, of course, you should back it up with valid references, okay, to make it objective. All right, it's not enough that you'll be able to give your opinion, but of course, you'll be able to support it with valid references, with valid, reliable sources. Okay, so those are just the types of expressing your body paragraph. Now, just like the introduction, the body paragraph also consists three parts. We have the topic sentence, the body, and the closing. So, you begin your body paragraph with a topic sentence. Now, what is a topic sentence? It tells your reader what your paragraph is about. So it is a specific part of your topic, and of course, it is usually at the beginning of your body paragraph. A while ago, we have the background information in the introduction, and it tells a little information about the topic. Here in the topic sentence, this is where you expound, you express better, you depend what you have included in the background information. All right. The second part of the body paragraph is the body. So it is the main part of the paragraph. This is where you place all of the information that you have gathered, and it contains with the details and support for your topic. So this is one of the most crucial part of your body paragraph because this is now the part where you place everything, all of the information, all of the essential things that you need to include that supports your topic. This is now that particular part where you place everything. Now, the last part of your body paragraph is the closing. So it comes at the end of your paragraph after all the details. So what are the things that you may be able to include in the closing? Number one, you may remind readers about the topic that you were able to discuss in the body paragraph. Second, you may summarize the paragraph. And third, you may link the paragraph to the next one. Okay, so those are just the things which may help you in crafting or writing your closing in a body paragraph. So at this point, we are now in the last part of the structure of academic text, which is the conclusion. So the conclusion is the ending part that sums up the main points and gives a closing thought. So, just like the introduction and the body paragraph, conclusion also consists three important parts. The first one is the thesis, second one is the summary of main idea, and the third one is the recommendation, prediction, or solution, which we can call as RPS. Okay? So let's try to know more about the conclusion structure. So question, Why is it that in the introduction we already mentioned thesis, and then here comes the conclusion, we also have the word thesis as its part? So the explanation there is simple. It's written here. Okay? So thesis. In the conclusion part, you only need to restate the thesis. You will be using synonyms. Okay? And remind your reader about your stance or opinion about the topic. In short, you will be using other terms, other words with the same meaning. That's synonyms. You'll just have to restate it so that you'll be able to remind the reader again of your stance or opinion, your position about the topic. Because maybe they forgot it already, so it needs reminder or they need reminder. Okay? So the second part is the summary of main ideas. So this is the part where you summarize the key topics discussed in the main body. So here, as what you can see, you may interchange, or the thesis and summary of main ideas can be interchangeable. You may begin with a summary of main ideas, you may begin with a thesis, it's up to you, or you may combine both. Okay? So third is the recommendation, prediction, and solution, or we call it as RPS for you to be able to remember it easily. So what's its purpose? It's the final sentence which should be a future focus on what needs to be done. Okay? So example for recommendation, what are the things that you can suggest in order to address the issue, in order for you to address the problem at hand of the topic given to you. You may also have prediction. What do you think will happen if there will be no action? Or what will happen if there will be particular action to a certain issue or problem? Next one is solution. You may provide the things that needs to be done in order for you to address the issue or problem at hand. Okay, so that's the three parts of the conclusion structure. Okay, so that ends our learning session this morning. So let me just review the things that we've discussed. It's about the structure in writing academic text. So we have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. In the introduction, you should have your hook, background information, and thesis. In the body paragraph, you should have your topic sentence, the body, and the closing. And in the conclusion, you should have your thesis, summary of main idea, the recommendation, prediction, or solution, or RPS. Thank you.